All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Hook the Line. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is going to be the second college football playoff preview episode here. We just finished up with Alabama at Oklahoma, which is going to kick off the college football playoff. Now we move into Saturday, our noon game. You get the Notre Dame beaters, you get Texas A&M playing at home against number 10 Miami with all the drama that's gone on with Notre Dame and Miami, who should have gotten in. I do think, in my opinion, the committee got it right choosing head to head. I mean, it's on paper, it's on the field there. But now, if you're Miami, you got to prove that you deserve to be there because if you get blown out, something happens, Notre Dame's going to be kicking down the door trying to start a fire. So we'll see. But it should be a really fun one at Kyle Field at noon. Spread is going to be 3.5 favoring A&M. Over under is 51.5. So they're thinking a little bit of points in this one. What do you think?
Yeah. Um, this should be an interesting one. Texas A&M gets the lucky draw of being at home. Um, I wish this game was at night. I know we talked about the other game being cool atmosphere being at night, but um, this is an interesting one because I think this is like yes, the other game's better, but I think this game will be a better watch just because that game was kind of more defensively dominated. Um, and we have two interesting quarterbacks. I'll use the word interesting because of their unpredictability. I think that both of them have shown times where they're really good and both shown times where they're kind of struggling. So, hold on. I have to let this idiot out really quick. Stupid dog. All right. Oh,
Dog.
uh, back to what I was saying. You mentioned this is a common opponent for Notre Dame, which is interesting because technically you can throw a little film study with Notre Dame, but it happened so long ago for both these teams, so probably won't be the main focus of game prep. But in terms of recent results, Texas A&M is kind of coming in stumbling a little bit. Obviously, the Texas game was gross. Marcel Reed came out of halftime and forgot how to play a little bit. Granted, they did have a messy false start on fourth and short. He threw an interception deep in the red zone after a good drive and kind of killed their chance at the game. After Texas scored after that, so we can also mention the South Carolina game where things kind of went in his favor after playing really bad the first half. He showed up and defense complimented him pretty well, and they were able to come out on top in that game. So it's things like that where you have positive and negative results that kind of prepare you for moments like this where you got a lot of lights. Maybe you're down, maybe you get punched in the gut, out the gates, or you go down late. Marcel Reed's been in this a little bit. I think that Carson Beck has kind of also, been in there a little bit. They've kind of had the luxury of their opponents beating themselves in the, great prestige conference of the ACC that we give a lot of praise to. Um, Kidding, but he really needs to play a clean game, and I think the key to his success is staying at a third and long. I think that when he gets put third and 7 plus, he kind of tries to force things. He'll turn the ball over, and I think that that's a really part of his game that is susceptible if you're doing a game preview. They also struggle. Like I think a good point for maybe A&M to hammer home before this game. If you get Miami to start on their own 20 and closer to the goal line, it's a major advantage because they've struggled on the road with penalties. They've been better with the turnovers, but Carson Beck has been unpredictable, like I've said. So if you make them start on their own 15, 20, and make them go the distance, it's going to give you the best chance at success because, as long as you don't give up an explosive play, they have to go a long way, have to have a lot of plays, and a lot of things can go wrong within them. And the same goes for Marcel Reed as well. If Miami can pin them deep, then, you make it long for him. So special teams, I think, is actually going to be a really key important game, not only in this game, but in the other game we were talking about, Alabama, Oklahoma. And I'm sure it'll come up along the rest of the way of the playoffs, but it's a key factor that's, kind of forgotten, lost in the measure of, two quarterback talks or, promising defenses, but this should be a good watch. I think that this game leans in the favor of Texas A&M a little bit, just because, like I mentioned, they've been in bad spots, they've been in good spots, and shown positive and negative results in terms of resiliency. But um, they also get the home field advantage of playing at Kyle Field, which is pretty important for them. I think that'll help maybe eliminate some false start penalties that might have happened on the road. And, you can say the opposite for Miami, where, they really got to be on top of their snap counts and limit the negative plays. So I got A&M winning. We've talked about it all year that they've been an impressive team, and I think that shows in this game. I don't think that they're worthy of a first round exit. So I think they take it, and I think they take it pretty decently. I think they take it 10 points. They got 27-17. So I think that the key to them is to just stay ahead, try to keep it 2 possessions so that you can play a little bit, freely on offense. Really not try to have Marcel Reed do too much and keep the pressure on Carson Beck, because he's shown that that's something that he can struggle with. But can see it going either way. It's close spread, right? It's like 3 probably.
Yeah, it's 3.5. So
Yeah. So I mean, I'll have them covering, but wouldn't be shocked if they didn't. So um, that's my spiel. But yeah, definitely going to be locked into this one early Saturday.
yeah, should be a really, really fun noon game. Yeah, both these rosters are very good. But it's interesting. You brought up the good point of unpredictability because both these teams have the rosters to go far, make big plays, and win big games. They just have really, really been inconsistent in both turnovers, but also penalties as well. It just feels like both these teams kind of shoot themselves in the foot. So this game may be much less about who takes it and more about who loses it,
Right.
who's going to drop the ball. I mean, we saw in that South Carolina game. I mean, if Marcel Reed has a first half like that against Miami, who is a playoff caliber team, and just because they snuck in there, they do deserve to be in there. They have a very good team. Miami's probably going to punish you more than South Carolina would, or at least keep their foot on your neck a little bit more than South Carolina did. And then if you're Miami, you're coming in kind of guns blazing. You've won your last three in blowout fashion, but also you've got just some freak losses in there. I mean, you've lost to SMU on the road, who I think a lot of people didn't see coming, late in the season. You really can't afford to lose it. So you're kind of all over the place with both these teams. I think Texas A&M actually, in a weird way, is favored by that Texas loss. I think that Texas loss helped them. I think I would be a little bit scared if, they did pull out a sneaky win against Texas, another ugly win. And then you're kind of saying, all right, when are they due for a loss? When is it coming? I think getting a loss, we see a lot of times with teams getting a loss out of the way, especially when you're 11-1, something like that, really kicks you in the butt and lets like the mistakes you can't make again. You've now been punished. South Carolina scared you, Texas punished you. And so you can't allow that to happen again. And for me, it comes down to which quarterback do I trust more. I trust Marcel Reed more than I trust Carson Beck, even though Carson Beck has played in some big games throughout his years there and just didn't really perform up to the expectation. A lot of times it was other players around him kind of carrying. Now he's got to carry the team on his back. I don't trust him to not make a couple mistakes. I trust Marcel Reed to get those fixed. And at the end of the day, I think Texas A&M offense is a little bit better than Miami's offense, and I think their defense is also a little bit better than Miami's defense. It's not by a large amount, but I think overall they just have the personnel to beat this team. And
Mm.
at home, like you mentioned, very, very big for Kyle Field at noon. That place is going to be packed out. It's going to be rocking. So I've got Texas A&M in this one. However, I do think it's a bit of a shootout. I think you're going to see a bit of a Miami, Notre Dame, Texas A&M, Notre Dame, where it's just kind of punches are thrown and somebody's going to end up winning the game either late or something like that. But I have them covering. I have it 35-30, so it's going to be a close game. But I do have them covering, and I have A&M winning. That is also the over. Part of me is putting that down there because I really hope that it's like that. I would love to see a good first round shootout
Mm.
compared to the game we're getting at 8 p.m. the night before. So we'll see. But overall, I have A&M moving on.
Yeah, no, that's we're on the same side for both these games, so you know, knock on wood, hopefully no bad luck swings our way.
Yeah, and I think these are two games that I think a lot of people are going to agree with us on.
Yeah,
It's kind of you've got two teams that are theoretically better, but have been prone to mistakes. I mean, Alabama theoretically better than Oklahoma, but has been prone to mistakes. Texas A&M theoretically better than Miami, but has been prone to mistakes. So it's just that's where everybody's kind of getting caught up. I'm going to stick to the script, similar to how it's been in playoffs and March Madness, things like that
yeah,
in recent years. Go chalk a little bit.
yeah, a little chalky. But you mentioned a good point. It's who's going to beat themselves the least. Like that's what these playoffs come down to. You know, the better teams do a better job, like IU, Georgia, um, Ohio State at times. But um, it's important for these teams that have shown that they can do it to limit it in these first rounds if they really want to advance and gain some momentum heading into the second round. But yeah, these are the two top matchups, two close matchups per se. Even though probably one of those other games will probably be close, but these are probably going to get the most eyes and most people on opposite sides as opposed to the other games.
Yeah, and winner gets the pleasure of meeting Ohio State in the second round. So that's what's up for grabs in this one. Somebody's got to go take it. We'll see who.
Yeah, yeah. These two teams, I pray for them. Whichever winner comes out on top, I pray for you. And whoever loses, you're going to dodge a bullet, getting
Yeah,
embarrassed. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, well, that should be a good game. Whoever comes out on top against Ohio State, because now Ryan Day's got his back against the wall after losing, and um, but we do know what happens after. Last year Ohio State lost 13-10, and then they turned around and made things happen. So that's another video that we'll talk about. But
yeah. My best bet for this game: both
oh,
quarterbacks to throw a pick.
I'm gonna fall quarterback throw. That would be
Go ahead and put that.
honestly. I don't know even know what the odds would probably be close, like even. Like that's it's
Put a
probably
pick.
not that
You don't got to pick
probably
one.
not that crazy.
Both throwing one, so don't worry
It's
about it.
funny. Also, Malachi Tony is a high school quarterback. Him to throw a pass might be a good bet too. Saw him.
Especially,
We saw them whip that out against one of their teams recently. I watched the game back. He threw they did a little jet sweep and he threw a dime down the little sideline. I don't know if you want to pull it up, but
yeah.
something to look out for if their offense stalls a little bit.
No, I'll look out for it. I mean, I didn't know that's good research done there. High school
It,
quarterback Malachi Tate, the kid's a freak. Then I
yeah,
mean,
he's a freak all over the field. That's a guy to watch for sure.
that's also one last point before we go. The receivers in this game, the athletes that we're going to see on the field,
Nuts.
it's going to be so much fun to watch because you've got Malachi Tony on one side, Casey Concepcion, Mario Craver, just
Lot of speed.
a bunch of dogs, a lot of speed. It's going to be a fast game, which might lead to points. So we'll see, but
It's
should
fun.
be a lot.